Hello everybody, I wanted to give you a simple, hopefully very simple tutorial on the Basic Story Adventure Creator. It's a system for creating basic interactive stories. It's split into 3 columns. The left column has the Save, Load, Compile button and the index navigation window or area. The Save button will save your story as a JSON file. The Load button will load that JSON file back into the page so that you can continue to work on it. The compile button will compile your story into a very basic interactive HTML for your story. In the navigation window, you can click on any of the pages and it will navigate to those pages. That happens in the middle column. Now in the middle column at the very bottom, you'll notice the page number. So right now we're on page 0, which is the title. You can see over in the index we have page 0, which is the title. If we click on page 1, you'll notice that this updates to page 1 down at the bottom of the middle column. Let's go back up to title. When we update this, we'll just say this is the title. And then we will click on page 1 to kind of refresh that. You'll notice that it updates both in our index navigation area as well as the title of the story here updates. If we do the same thing with page 1, this is page 1. Click on the title to kind of update that. You'll notice that it updates in our navigation index area. This is page 1. You'll notice the title stays the same. Now, below, let's head back over to page 0 here. So we're at the title. By default, I apologize, we have planes going overhead here. By default, we have the start button. So we have one option by default. We can have up to 4 options. If the options have no text, the go button on the right side and the page icon on the left will be grayed out. If the option has text, you'll notice they'll be highlighted. Now if I hit the go button, what's going to happen is that is going to take me to page 1. You'll notice page 1 has no links. So let's go back over to the title really quick. If you hit this page icon, that's going to open up the Go To Page window, and that allows you to select a different page for that to go to. Right now we only have page 1, so we're going to hit cancel. If we had a bunch of other pages, we could select a different one, hit save. We've just relinked this to go to a different page. So that's how the options will work here. On the right side, we have the linked scenes, the empty scenes, and the abandoned scenes. Title is considered an abandoned scene because currently no other pages link to title. So you can't get back to title once you start reading the story. If we head over to page 1, you'll notice in page 1 in the linked scenes, it shows the title. The reason it does that is because the title links to page 1. So page 0 right here links to page 1. And that's why that shows up here. So if you had 200 pages and page 179 linked back to page 1, this would say title and 179. Page 179. You'll notice that still 0 title is in abandoned scenes regardless because nothing is linking back to it. Now, if we, on page 1, if we create a new option and we're going to say go, let's head to page 2. Right now you'll notice there is no page 2. However, if we hit the go button, it will automatically generate. It's going to find the first blank page, slam it in there for us. Page 2 has, you'll see it updated the middle column here, but it has nothing in the body and no options. So if we click back on page 1, we've got, this is page 1, we've got one yellow option here. Let's head to page 2. Again, hit the go button, we're back to page 2. If we type something in like this is page 2, click back on page 1, all of a sudden this is updated. You'll notice that this is page 2 shows up here. You can't see it on the video, but if you mouse over most of these options, you're going to see a pop-up tooltip that's going to give you a readout of what those pages are. So it's going to make for really easy navigation here for you. Also, if you go over the page icon or any of these are going to also pop up the text. You can't see it on the video, and I apologize, but it happens. So we got page 2 here. Now, if we go to page 2, you'll notice it has no options. Maybe from page 2 we want to go back to the title. So we could say go back to title. Now if we hit the go button here, that's going to create page 3, and we don't want to do that. We want to go back to the title. So we're going to head over here, click that, highlight the title and hit save, and that's going to take us back to the title. Now that did a couple of things. You'll notice that title was removed from abandoned scenes because now something is linking to it. So you can get back to the title. If you hit that go button, you're now going back to page 0, back to the title. So if we click on page 2 here, again, you've got this little page icon that indicates, if you mouse over it, you can't see it on the video, it indicates it goes to page 0. So you can see that pretty easily there. And that is pretty much the whole thing. If you save it, it'll pop up over here to show you, hey, oh, you can't see that either. Okay, I apologize. But it'll offer to save it. If you hit the load button, it's going to pop up a dialog to load it, and then you can hit compile, and it'll save it as a very simple website for you. That's the whole process there. You can just get on here, and you could type, go to page 3. And we're actually going to have to delete that, refresh it first, because we don't want to do that. Go to page 3. Going to have to work on that maybe a little bit, but we now have page 3. This is page 3. You'll notice that because we are no longer linking to the title, that appeared back down in the abandoned scenes. We now have page 3. You just keep typing. Maybe page 3 has a bunch of options. Let's head to page 4. We'll hit go there. We'll head back here. Now you could type several. Go to page 5 and load page 6. So we have several options. It did not create the pages because we didn't hit the go button. So we can still navigate to page 4. This is page 4. No options here. Go back to 3. You'll see that pops up there. Page 5 and 6 still just don't exist. Even if you try to click this, you can't link to them because they don't exist. You have to hit the go button. Now if you hit the go button on page 6 first, it's going to look for the first empty page, which is page 5. So you're going to have to change your index or your option text there, because you're now on page 3. If you go to page 6, you're actually going to page 5. So you have a couple of options for that. You could go to page 5. You could relink it to page 5 here. Save. So now you're going to page 5 up here. You're also going to page 5 on page 6 because you haven't updated that yet. So to update that, we're going to delete that just because we want to create the pages in order. We might need to save something to do that. That might be in the next iteration. If you click the go button, you're going to page 5. We'll add this is page 5. And click on page 3, and then we'll add another one. Go to page 6. Now that wouldn't usually be an issue. We're going to hit go. Let's say that in page 6, this is page 6, we're going to say we have 7 and 8 as options. Now if you click these in order, it's not going to be an issue. However, if you don't click them in order, you may end up having to relink them a little bit later. That is pretty much the basic rundown of how you can create a super simple interactive story. You don't need any programming knowledge to do this, although I am going to recommend that once you compile your story, that you at least explore some CSS, HTML, maybe JavaScript if you really want to make it interactive, just to kind of make it look better, because right now it's going to look very plain. So that's that. I hope that everyone enjoys using it. It's been a lot of fun to make it, and just doing this tutorial I can see that I have a couple of things that I should probably look at, but that's pretty much the end of it. The other things to look at is, let's say on page 3 that we move this down. So we delete that. We're going to put that down here, and we're going to link that over to page 6. We're going to save that. Now, because there is an empty option, you'll notice that page 3 has turned yellow instead of green. Now, it has text in the body, it has options. All those options are green, they're all super functional. It only shows yellow here because it wants to make you aware, hey, you kind of skipped an option. It's not going to be detrimental, but just to kind of highlight that, make you kind of think twice about it, look at it. Once you know what you're doing, once you know that your story is flowing the way you want it to flow, you don't really got to worry about that too much. You'll notice that page 6 is also yellow. What that means is that it has options that do not go anywhere. So these are yellow, saying, hey, the body of this page has no text in it. So if you just type anything in the body of that page, go back to page 6, that's going to turn green because it has something in the body. So that is something to be aware of as well. It's kind of color coordinated. That's the whole thing. I hope this wasn't too long. I was aiming for only a couple of minutes, but it looks like it's been about 10 or 11. So if you have any questions, shoot me a message or leave me a comment on itch.io. All right, you guys have a great day.